Good morning on this very, very beautiful autumnal morning. But other than it being beautiful and autumn, there is something else that's very exciting that I want to share with you. This episode is going to be called It's Time to Go Beeping Wide. I might adjust the beeping part, but I have treated myself to a new toy. Check this baby out. Oh, look at this. This brand spanking new Tamron G2 15-30mm fixed aperture 2.8 DI/vs USD G2. But anyway, it's time to go wide, and I have said in so many vlogs already, if I had a wide angle lens this would be so much better. Now I have a wide angle lens, pretty goddamn wide, 15mm. Whew. And excuse the dirt on the front of it, but look at that. Is that not beautiful? There is one thing that I have noticed though. Bulbous glass attracts dirt like nothing else. My flat lens does not get anywhere near as dirty as this. This thing just attracts it. But let's see what else it attracts. It's time to go off into the woods and get some wide angle woodland photography. Might be my new favourite thing. It'll never beat waterfalls, but whew. Let's see what we can make today.
Woke up from a whisper, collared shirt down by my feet, stood on a crowded bathroom rug. Voices filled the rooms upstairs.
Now, I have never ever claimed to be a particularly good woodland photographer, but I've watched plenty of videos on it and I've spent lots of time in the woods, and it can be overwhelming because there is just so many possibilities. My first tip for woodland photography is take your time, slow down. You're not racing up a mountain to get that light that's hitting the side of that hill. You know, this area doesn't change fast. So even at autumn right now, the trees above me at the tops have been orange for a long time, but down underneath the canopy where I am right now, it's still barely changed. So be like a wood itself. Take your time, walk around it. If something looks like it's got possibilities, check it from all angles. Don't just rush in and get the first shot you've seen. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take my sweet time. I'm going to walk slowly, I'm going to walk around things, because this section of beach that I'm in right now is not very big, but I'm sure there is so many compositions. So many amazing shots, but there's only one way to find out.
Our Ford was warm before we drove. Breakfast fresh on the stove. She walked out with the floral blouse. Back then, everyone was near.
So I think I found my first composition, and again, I'm no woodland photographer, but I think I've discovered something pretty sweet, and I'm going to go into the back of the camera to show you what I've found. So I'm just going to start off the video there, and what I've decided to put central is this beautiful branch right here. It's just absolutely stunning in them autumn colours. I've got this lovely tree trunk up here, but because there's no mist or drama or anything that helps separate that from the background, that's why I've decided to put this branch up here that has not turned autumn. But the idea by that not being autumn colours is it helps draw your eye into the focal point, which is that colour, by not distracting by being super colourful as well. And every so often I get this beautiful side light that just cuts across and lights up the whole side of this tree. It's just about to come now, and it's just absolutely incredible. It makes the scene pop, and that's what it's all about. And then I add some effects in Photoshop, the autumn effect, and etc, etc, and this is going to look absolutely incredible. For the shot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bracket my exposure, so I'm getting all the information all the way through, so when I'm back in Photoshop and Lightroom I can composite that together and get everything looking absolutely sweet. Yes, that is a road just over there which is kind of ruining the sound, which I apologise, but for this wood it is definitely worth it. It's time to get this shot though, because oh, spectacular, absolutely beautiful. Very happy with the results of my first composition. Now I'm just going to wait for that light to come back and then I'll show you the finished results. So I've just found this little tree. Well, it's quite a big tree really. And what I really like about it is the fact that one side of it is really open. And I imagine that's because the big tree to the left of it, my left anyway, it is also big. So all the branches to capture the light have started to grow that way, which is great for me because that's opened up all the gnarly, interesting wood that's underneath. And where the sun is right now, it's almost backlighting it. But it's backlighting it to the point where the sun is off to one side of the tree. So it's not going to end up as a sun flare in the back. It's not going to take away from the beauty of this image. Well, this tree anyway. I don't know about the image yet. And what I really want to try and do is line it up so I'm getting a limb coming out of this corner, a limb coming out of this corner, and everything's guiding your eye down into this gnarly, twisted tree trunk. That's my idea anyway. But to get that, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to spend a bit of time walking around the tree, lining everything up to hopefully get it doing what I imagine it could do now. That makes sense? Yeah, I think so. But I think I've got a winner here. So I've got my camera all set up now and it's looking sweet. I've got the limbs in the corners leading around for that gnarly trunk. I just need a little bit of light. But on an interesting note, little top tip, stick a stick where you found your location and then you know where to put the center of your tripod. Above the stick, funnily enough. But there's something I'm definitely going to have to purchase for this camera, and that's, well, for this new lens, and that is a polarizer. And I'm not sure if any of you ever looked into the 150mm systems. They're either really expensive or not that great. Like the Nissy's probably the one I'll go for, but if you try and rotate the polarizer, then you are still rotating the rest of the glass, so you can't put a medium grad in front of it, which is really annoying. Really annoying. But anyway, so I'm going to flick into the back of my camera and I'm going to show you what I have got all set up. So here we are. I've got this beautiful limb up here. Oh, where's my hand? This beautiful limb up here, pointing down into this gnarly tree trunk, which is making a beautiful shape. And then I've got a limb up here coming out the top, which is absolutely beautiful. And I just need that side light from over there behind that cloud to illuminate this tree, and then I have got that shot, and it's going to be so good, so good. For this image again, I am going to bracket. I've got it on f11 1/4 of a second ISO L3. I'm going for a little bit of a slower shutter speed. Not that I need to, but there's no wind, so I don't need to worry about movement in the leaves. So now, once I get this light hitting that tree, boom, and here's the final image. While I was waiting for that light to come my direction, I started thinking about foreground interest, and I noticed there's these big rocks here covered in moss, and I'm going to try something. Now with a wide angle you get quite a bit of distortion, so this might not work completely. So what I'm going to do for this idea is I'm going to do a vertical panoramic with my camera in landscape, so I'm going to be taking a lot of information in. I'm still shooting on 15mm, but I'm going to overlap by 50% so that I have more chance of stitching these super wide angle images together. I really like this little bit of foreground interest over here, panning up into this beautiful tree up here. And I'm also going to focus that. So I'm going to start off by focusing on these little points down here, then onto the tree trunk, and then I'm going to leave the focus on the tree trunk, because the top doesn't matter if it's a bit soft. There is one problem though. I want the light, but also the sun is going to be in my shot over here, believe it or not. With my wide angle, the sun over here is still going to be in the shot. That's how wide this thing is. So it's going to take a little bit of trickery. I'm going to bracket the shots, and fingers crossed this works out. But I'm going to jump into the back of the camera so you can see what my idea is. So this is going to be the immediate foreground, and I'm going to start a little bit lower. I'm going to start down here just so I've got more breathing space for this bit of foreground, because I don't want it to end up all bowed, which it sometimes does when you do stitches. So I'm going to give it more breathing space, and I'm going to photograph these bits here with this beautiful side light hitting there into the shadow. It's just absolutely magnificent, and I just love the way this curls round into the tree trunk that's right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pan up, and like I said, I'm going to pan up 50%. So I'm probably going to pan up as much as that. And then I'm going to capture this scene, and again I'm going to bracket it, so it's going to be, you know, highlights, shadows, boom, magic. And then I'm going to pan up again to about there, and I've got a center line on the back of my screen here, and that's what's going to help me keep it in a nice straight line as I'm panning up. And you can see the highlights already are way blown out in this video. And I'm going to pan up again, and I'm going to get another shot of this. And when I'm stitching this, this is going to go really like an hourglass shape,
because I'm getting so much information at the top and so much information at the bottom, and then the center picture is going to be really small compared, but I don't want to stretch it out. So this is why it's really important that I go ultra wide to get as much of this information as I can, so I still get a lot of this top of this tree. And I'm just going to pan up one more time so I can really get the top of that tree just like that. And oh, it's going to be so pretty. I'll drop down that exposure so you can see more what it will look like. Beautiful. So the wind died, and instead of running across and turning on the camera and then running back across and capturing that image, I decided just to quickly get the image before it is too late. And one of the nicest things about this section of woodland is, yeah, on top, autumn is like, boom, it is prime. But down here under the canopy, I've still got maybe a week, 2 weeks to come and explore. Well, a week, maybe a week and a half, to come and explore and capture lots of ultra wide angle lenses. This little experiment over here, that is one of the things that I've been most excited about, getting this wide angle lens. Not so much waterfalls, but woodland photography. It really lends itself to that wider perspective because you can get closer to your subject, which isolates it away from the noise of all the other trees around you. And imagine this location on a misty morning. That would be absolutely incredible. So be expecting lots more woodland photography for sure. Lots more ultra wide angle lens use, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. And I'm not saying go out there and get yourself into debt to get yourself a beautiful wide angle lens, but it is quite nice, I have to say. And that lens is not stupidly expensive, not stupidly. In the grand schemes of photography, it's expensive, but not in the grand schemes of photography. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble, and I've enjoyed myself this morning, taken lots of beautiful images. I'm going to leave you with the 3 images running back to back. Tell me in the comments below which one was your favourite, but don't forget to do all the things that YouTubers tell you to do. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and if you know somebody else who's interested in woodland photography that thinks that you think might find this interesting, share it out too. But other than that, have a lovely weekend. Peace out.